This is a Fox News alert. We are awaiting the release of a report from Department's Inspector General on the DOJ's handling of the investigation into the Hillary Clinton email scandal. It's expected to be extensive and will mark the most definitive accounting of the probe to date. Right now, Bloomberg is reporting the Inspector General found former FBI Director James Comey broke from procedure in handling the investigation. This is Outnumbered. I'm Kennedy, and here today, Republican strategist and senior fellow for the Independent Women's Voice, Lisa Booth is here, along with the Fox Business Network's Elizabeth McDonald. We've got Fox News anchor Julie Banderas, and
hi,
joining us for the very first time on the couch today,
Hello
Matt
there.
Schlapp is here, chairman of the American Conservative Union and former White House political director for President George W. Bush, and he is outnumbered. Welcome to the show. Your
Great
inaugural run. Congratulations.
Yeah, this is a big step.
This
break
is
in.
a big step and a huge day. There is so much going on, and we are delighted to have your
But no
expertise
pressure.
and perspective. Immense pressure. All right, the Justice Department's Inspector General report into the Hillary Clinton email investigation is expected to be released soon. President Trump is being briefed on it first. Bloomberg reporting the IG found former FBI Director James Comey broke from procedure in handling of this probe into Clinton's server. The report also expected to scrutinize then Attorney General Loretta Lynch and former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe. Now, meantime, Attorney General Jeff Sessions defending the firing of Comey and warning there could be more firings after this new report comes out. Watch.
I think it was the right thing to do, and the facts were pretty clear on it. He made a big mistake. We felt like there was a serious breach of discipline within the department if we allowed him to continue. And if anyone else shows up in this report to have done something that requires termination, we will do so.
All right, Democratic Senator Chris Van Hollen this morning with his take on how Republicans may use the report.
They've been trying to argue that if there's any misconduct shown in the Hillary Clinton email investigation, that somehow that should taint the Mueller investigation. The Mueller investigation is a completely independent investigation and has nothing to do with that original email investigation. Let's not try to, quote, spin this to undermine the very important independent Mueller investigation.
He's spinning so hard, I'm dizzy. So, Matt, let's talk about what we know so far. What do we know about this report? And to his point, is there anything in here that could reflect or have an impact on the Mueller investigation?
This is all to be determined, right? This is all going to come flowing out here in the next couple hours. Here, I'll make a prediction. As soon as the Hill starts getting briefed on this, we'll all know. Right? So that's kind of how Congress works. There's no secrets in Congress. And I think that there's a couple of takeaways. The first thing is like to have an FBI director and a deputy director be canned is pretty historic. And everybody acknowledges, be they Republican or Democrat, there was a lot of wrongdoing. These text messages between Strzok and Page, I think that's going to get the IG's attention. The idea that they're saying we have to stop Trump in different words, I think that makes Americans believe that there's something wrong with the FBI when it's being that political. And finally, I think the other thing they're going to find is that Jim Comey thought that he was an island unto himself. He was the czar of the FBI. He reported to Loretta Lynch. He had an obligation to keep her in the loop, and he didn't do that.
Well, and that's true, and that could be incredibly problematic and difficult for him to explain, because you can't claim to adhere to and respect the chain of command, but then feel that you have to go rogue because that completely violates the chain of command. But, you know, EMAC, does that mean even if James Comey is labeled insubordinate in this final version of the report, not the draft, what does that mean? Are there any legal charges that follow? Is it just a wrist slapping? He's already done with the government part of his career.
Well, it's really damaging to James Comey's credibility, which he's conceivably already damaged on the book tour. He's been attacked for his statements on the book tour. The report is going to say that he deviated in a dramatic fashion from the standards of the FBI and put the entire FBI, the Bureau, in a very bad light. And so, you know, there is a link to the Mueller probe because James Comey is a witness in the Mueller probe. So you can imagine that the president will immediately start tweeting and attacking the credibility of James Comey, which will seek to undermine the Mueller probe.
Well, and also, Lisa, he is the impetus for the special counsel. And he, by his own admission before Congress, said that he leaked information and those memos in order to spur the special counsel.
Well, exactly. So, I mean, if that's what Robert Mueller is looking at is obstruction of justice and President Trump's firing of James Comey, and then the Inspector General lays out the case for James Comey and how he failed to do his job, he did it ineffectively, and he broke government protocol, that certainly strengthens President Trump and his legal team's defense against obstruction of justice charges. But honestly, we don't even need this report to already see that. Rod Rosenstein, the deputy director of DOJ, already laid out the case for firing James Comey. We know that James Comey has lied multiple times, whether it was even about the timeline of why he released those memos in the first place. We also know that he lied before Congress about even leaking those memos as well. So the case is already strong against James Comey.
And I want to get you in here because this could really complicate matters. If this isn't a black or white, right versus wrong report, and if there isn't, some gob of red meat for each side, it's only going to further politicize the divide in Washington.
First of all, the whole James Comey thing is a joke. When he announced the investigation of the Hillary Clinton email, then he comes out and says that he can't openly prosecute. What was the point of doing that in the first place?
Yeah, so, that's not
for Democrats
the
to
job
argue,
of the FBI.
No, it is not. The job of the FBI is not to lie, for starters, but James Comey screwed that up. But as far as James Comey is concerned, and they are going to say many other heads are going to roll over this. It's not just James Comey. I mean, first of all, Andrew McCabe, he's going to name names. And how many other names is he going to name? And I know the president on his birthday is very excited for this early and present birthday gift that he's going to be receiving because he's just waiting for this, because this will justify the reason why he fired James Comey. James Comey was a liar, and he's been caught
leaker and
red-handed.
Lion James Comey. All right, well, another gift the president received today. He is responding to the New York Attorney General's announcement. They are seeking a lawsuit against the Donald J. Trump Foundation and its directors, including not only the president, but his children, Eric, Ivanka, and Donald Trump Jr. Attorney General Barbara Underwood alleging the foundation served as a personal piggy bank for Trump's businesses and campaign. Underwood saying in a statement, quote, "As our investigation reveals, the Trump Foundation was little more than a checkbook for payments from Mr. Trump or his businesses to nonprofits, regardless of their purpose or legality. This is not how private foundations should function, and my office intends to hold the foundation and its directors accountable for its misuse of charitable assets." President Trump responding, tweeting, quote, "The sleazy New York Democrats and their now disgraced and run out of town AG Eric Schneiderman are doing everything they can to sue me on a foundation that took in $18,800,000 and gave out to charity more money than it took in, $19,200,000. I won't settle this case." All right, so what do we have here? Are these New York State political axes being ground, or is there something to this that could ultimately damage the president?
My wonderful wife often tells me, basta, enough.
Yeah.
How much more of these investigations?
Michael Avenatti, that's his favorite hashtag.
Is that,
yeah,
maybe I shouldn't say that.
Maybe don't say it again.
Thanks a lot. The point is this, which is when these liberals just keep going after Trump, he already has a special counsel for almost every moment of his presidency. The Democrats have hashtag resistance. They don't want to support any of his agenda items, even those that are popular. And now you have the New York Attorney General going after the Clinton Foundation, which, by the way, I had to talk about throughout the presidential campaign over and over again. Enough is enough. Eventually, the American people, even the ones who aren't that political.
You mean the Trump Foundation?
You said they were going after the Clinton Foundation.
I'm sorry. Yeah. I always love to talk about the Clinton Foundation more, so that's a slip of the tongue. But the point is this: the American people actually do want us to solve our problems, and this plays right into Trump's hands. I love the tweet.
All right, so let's talk about the contrast between the Trump Foundation and the Clinton Foundation. The Clintons had a brilliant money laundering scheme in the Clinton Foundation, and it's no surprise that any other politician would want to do the exact same thing and concentrate money and power. But now the cat's out of the bag. So because, no misdoing was really pinned to the Clinton Foundation formally, are they now going to go after the Trump Foundation?
Well, look, only President Trump and his legal team know what their defense would be in this case and if it's worth fighting or not. My understanding is the AG is asking for $2.8 million in restitution, as well as dissolving the Trump Foundation. Honestly, that doesn't seem like that big of an ask, personally, if you're President Trump and you're the Trump Foundation. So perhaps that's the path of least resistance, although we know President Trump likes to fight back. So, you know, I leave it to him and his team legally to decide if that's worth a fight or not.
All right. Well, the Trump Foundation released this response saying the prior NYAG, who was recently forced to resign from office in disgrace, made it his stated mission to use this matter to not only advance his own political goals, but also for his own political fundraising. The acting NYAG's recent statement that battling the White House is the most important work she have ever done shows that such political attacks will be continue unabated.
These are really serious charges. You're not supposed to use your foundation for your own personal debts. And now the children may be barred from other nonprofits from serving on them. It's being referred to the IRS and the Federal Elections Commission. This is a scathing rebuke of a sitting president and his foundation. I'm curious why the president is continuing to fight it. This has been under investigation for years now, and when the evidence that is mounting about this, I'm not sure it would be wise to continue to fight it. I think you just settle it and move on.
And, you know, to Lisa's point, that's in his nature. He wants to fight things. He wants to fight, and he wants to win when he feels that he's innocent.
And your points are well taken about the Clinton Foundation, the disparity there. However, just looking at the Trump Foundation, there are issues being raised.
There are times, though, the president has said that he is going to fight something or he's going to sue someone, and then it sort of dies down. So I think the news cycle moves so quickly, we'll forget about this story, I think, in about a day.
And you know,
maybe even by the end of the day.
It's important
by the end
to note,
of the show.
and the New York Attorney General knows this, that the president can't pardon anyone for state crimes.
That's exactly right. But it is interesting when you talk about the Clinton Foundation, who's investigating them and all their wrongdoing. I mean, the fact is this, which is all of this is political in the end. I know what you're talking about.
I hear you on
serious
that
questions,
point, too,
but in the end, it's all just a political, if you want to call it witch hunt or whatever you want to call it, it's just this nonstop attack on the president. If you look at all of his poll numbers, it's having the opposite effect of what the Democrats want. Don't listen to me, but they should stop with their strategy. It's a bad strategy.
All right, well, we'll see if this or any of these other stories stick. Some Republican congressmen seem to have lost their patience with the Justice Department. They want to hold Deputy AG Rod Rosenstein in contempt of Congress over information on that FBI informant who talked to Trump campaign aides. What those lawmakers want and whether they should get it.